And I don't think people truly understand that. Especially pre-COVID, it was even wilder. So, to get to the next level. So, yeah, it's crazy, and it makes you appreciate the heck out of it.
Without a doubt, especially on your end of it. So I want to touch on it. You just brought up the COVID, and I was going to bring it up in a little bit. You have fought in the UFC during the pandemic and after the pandemic. So obviously without fans and then with fans. Are you one of those people that feeds off the fans, or are you one that you enjoyed it more when there wasn't fans there?
Well, so I fought one with a crowd, like a big arena in DC right before the pandemic, and then even post COVID, all my fights have still been in the Apex. So,
okay.
I just love to compete, So I really enjoyed the first fight in the crowd just because that was like a huge bucket list thing for me. But I've always said this, and I stand by it, is like grappling, MMA, whatever it is. If you took me, I'm competing because I want to know. I want to compete. And if you took me and my three corners and him and his three corners, and you put us in a room, and no one's ever going to know the outcome, I would still compete. I truly mean that. I need to know. I love to compete. I love to train for a goal and then go try to attack it. So it doesn't really matter, But, the biggest thing is just having a support system there, outside of your three corners. It was cool during COVID because you kind of feel like you're on a secret mission. You all go get locked in and do your thing, come home, But you can only go so many fights. Like last fight, I was able to get my wife there at the Apex, so that was really cool. And if I could have that every time, that's all I care about, But it would be nice to get one with fans here again, make that walk, and do it here soon. But I really don't mind. It's nice hearing your coaches. It's the true essence of competition, but it is time probably to get back to those big fight fields with 20,000 people and in a different city, and that's part of the fight game too. So it's probably time for that. I think they should start moving back to that. So we're seeing more and more. I think it's like 2 a month at the Apex, 2 a month on the road. So hopefully here soon. I heard they're coming to Atlantic City in December. So if that's the case, being from New Jersey, I'd actually really wouldn't mind waiting and get on that card. That would be awesome, like a little homecoming. So we'll see. But it would be nice to get one in front of a crowd here soon.
Yeah, I mean, they were in the DFW area about a year ago, and I obviously would love for them to come back. I was unfortunately not able to go to that one, but I would love for them to come back up here. We have so many great venues they can check out, especially they're doing fight nights even on the road, or a lot of the fight nights on the road, and they're not big pay-per-views, but they're still in smaller buildings where you're still getting that big fight feel because of the fact that you are surrounded by thousands of other MMA fans, even if they're just there because they know the name UFC, but they don't really know a lot of the fighters. But it's still great. To me, I don't know, I'm kind of an energy vampire, and so I love being around a bunch of people and just feeding off of that. And the night's always better when there's a bunch of people around. It just feels so much cooler. And of course, when you got iconic Bruce Buffer, doing the commentary, or not commentary, but the ring announcing, and, that brings everybody into it because everybody loves Bruce Buffer.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is, fight sports are founded with that whole gladiator origin, right? Of being in the arena and, so it is time to go back to that for sure. Yeah, that energy, you can't match that energy. But, it was good for me. I mean, I appreciate the heck out of it because when you're in the Apex, you still feel that pressure that you feel in any UFC fight. The production, and there's still a crowd there. It's not huge, but, so it gave me time to wet my feet and get my feet wet in the UFC without the 20,000 fans, taking the energy out of the room or pumping it in, whatever you want to call it. So I can't complain about it, but yeah, I'd like to see all the shows be back on the road here soon. It's part of the experience and for the fans.
Yeah, I would too. I enjoy the Apex as well because, like you said, you can hear the coaches, you can hear what's going on, and I kind of like hearing that shuffle of their feet on the mat, and it's more intimate, really. And if that you can get that in a sport, that's always great because it's like seeing your favorite band do an acoustic set at some small venue or whatever.
Absolutely. And that's why they're able to sell these tickets for so much, the Apex, right? Because it really is. There's nothing like it, But, yeah, and that's what I said. I really don't care. I like it. I like to compete. I'm used to jiu-jitsu where nobody was there anyway, So,
right.
Like I said, if I could, the only thing for me last time was I just don't want to fight. I've been with my wife for my entire career, from my first amateur fight all the way, and I had different coaches and teammates the one constant has been her. So during COVID, she wasn't able to come at all. And that was the big thing for me. It was like, I just want one ticket for my wife to get in. Other than that, I don't care if it's on Mars. You know what I mean? So, and I still stand by that. I'd like to have a couple people that are close to me there to be with and support me while I'm there. And the rest, who cares? You know, the fans are fickle. You know, of course you appreciate them when they're on your side, but, you know, it's about sharing these moments with the ones you care about. So that's all I really wanted to do.
Oh, very true. I mean, you know, you brought up your wife before, and you already have one kid. You got another kid on the way. I want to go into that a little bit about how do you find the balance, and what does the balance kind of look like for you when it does come to having a family, you know, and also being a fighter? Is there separation? Are they there every step of the way? Do they enjoy going to the camps? Like, how does all that work for you?
Yeah, so, you know, the big answer would be no, I don't separate it, you know, best I can. You know, so right now, the way it works is when I go in camp, you know, I was going away, and that was tough because it was only 4 days a week, but it's a lot, you know, with my daughters too. So she gets it now, and she misses you know, and every day, pretty much every night, she would FaceTime me, you know, crying for me, and that kind of was tough. But yeah, but as far as the training when we're home and stuff, like my daughter comes all the time, she loves it, she runs the mats, like that's what I watched in the embedded this week. I actually really appreciate Benil Dariush because, like, I think he has a really good approach with that. And it doesn't work for everybody, you know, but, you know, I like to include my family in pretty much everything I do. Like, they're my reason for all of it, you know, so it's like, why would I not want them there? And I definitely don't want to be spending more time away from them. So, yeah, including them a lot more. It is tough with the travel, you know, like I said, training all over the place, but, I'm making the adjustments here soon where that won't be an issue. Be able to kind of do everything in one spot. And that's what I'm really excited for is, you know, I think that's, you know, I don't care if they're interested in martial arts or fighting. I think training in martial arts is good, you know, just for your overall well-being. But as far as like competing and all that stuff, but, you know, I have my daughter and we'll have a son here soon. And, you know, I just think them getting to be around, just seeing what their dad does, whatever it is, seeing that I worked as hard as I possibly could at something, for them, for their mom, and also just because I saw something I wanted to go after, you know. So I think that would be cool, and getting to share that, you know, most days would be really, really exciting. So that is the plan here coming up soon. And, yeah, I love this so much, and I pour everything I have into what I do. But at the same time, I would hate to cut a career short because I have to be gone for camps all the time, or I have to be, you know what I mean? Like, because I don't burn out. I love fighting. I love training. I train all year long. I train pretty hard all year long. I see myself doing that well after I retire too. So, you know, in my mind, if I could stay healthy, I could see myself going another, you know, 7-8 years. I'd hate to cut that short because you're burnt out from being away from your family, you know. So, yeah, it's something that is everything to me. So, yeah, it's been awesome. And now looking at these fights as like ways to kind of show your kids how to be, you know. So, trying to fight, you know, in a certain manner and go out there and be bold and be brave and go for it and not just sit back all the time. So, yeah, it plays a lot into it. It really does.
How's your wife on fight nights? And I guess, how is your daughter as well? Does she kind of know what's going on, or just like, you know, afterward, like how are they both, I guess, during fight nights?
Yeah, I mean, she's in the gym all the time watching my daughter, so she sees me spar and grapple and stuff. So I think she kind of just thinks we're just playing, you know. So I don't know that she knows there's going to be this winner and loser afterward. I know she knows everybody's happy when I win, but so she'll like, you know, she's never been there, but she'll send videos. Good job when you're fighting and stuff. But you know, then we get back the next day and it's back to normal life, right? So she knows that when I go away for a fight, I come back and she gets to go to the aquarium the next day. So she doesn't really care. But yeah, you know, but I think she thinks we're playing, so she's screaming at the TV, "Go Daddy" and stuff. I've seen it. But my wife, yeah, she's great, man. She doesn't really get nervous. It's perfect. It's a perfect balance because she plays it cool and she is cool until I leave for the venue. And then she starts freaking out. But by then I'm gone, you know? So that's kind of awesome. And the funniest part is when I leave for the venue, I'm good. You know, so we kind of switch roles. She gets all my nervous energy once I leave for work. And then, you know, we kind of meet when we're out there. And dude, she's nuts. You know, you can always hear her on the broadcast. Even when there is the fight in the full crowd, it was not hard to pick her out of 17,000 or whatever it was there. It was not hard at all, you know? So, but she loves it. You know, that's another thing. I was just talking to my boxing coach about it. Is like talk about this X factor ruining careers or make or break. And the other thing I've seen is relationships. Just man, the wrong relationship can tear down the right fighter. You know.
Yeah.
So just so blessed to have it been with my wife. And we started it together, so it wasn't like she hopped in and tried to figure this thing out, like, oh, what is it that you do? How can I fit into this? It was like, I was doing jiu-jitsu, and then 2 weeks later, took up fighting, right? 2 weeks after we started dating. So, we figured this whole thing out together, which we were really fortunate for, because she kind of knows what I need, and even when I don't, and how I'm feeling when I can't really recognize it. She showed up right in the middle as a surprise, actually, last time, in the middle of my weight cut, Thursday night, in Vegas, the Apex fight. So that was awesome, because as amazing as my coaches are, it was a tough cut, and it was just like, step aside, I got this, like, I'll get him ice and this and that, all the things that she knows that I was, probably craving that I didn't want to ask for and sound weak and be like, can I have some ice, or, whatever it is. And, it was awesome. It was like getting a shot of adrenaline. I perked up real quick. I was like, what are you doing here? Holy cow. And, it's been awesome, man. It's been us in a lot of situations where, starting out as an amateur, you don't have the coaches that are going to travel with you the day of. What it ends up being is like, okay, we'll meet you at the fight, like, because you're an amateur. To be expected.
Yeah.
But, she was there, and she's always been there through all the weight cuts and everything. And, yeah, it would be hard to hide what I do, because we wouldn't have our family without all this. It all started from this. It's been a constant in our life, and, it's just kind of a crazy way of life. We're like a little traveling circus. I said our daughter's got the hang of it. Now our son's going to be born. He has no idea the circus he's being born into, Fighting makes for an interesting life, and, it's fun. It's really cool.
Yeah. No, you mentioned Dariush on the Embedded series, and I've loved that too. I've been watching it, when I've been doing cardio at the gym in the mornings, and I'm like, that is so amazing that he has a newborn and he's still taking his entire family on the road with him for all these fights. And it is interesting because, like you said, if you don't have the right, it's basically you're building a team. If you don't have the right people around you, even, wife-wise or relationship-wise, it's not going to work, because every single bit of it has to line up, and they all have to be on the same, everybody's got to be on the same page. Everybody's got to have the same goal in mind. Everybody's got to be, supportive when they need to be, and critical when they need to be. If you don't have that proper team around you, it doesn't work in the end. It might work for a little bit, but it's not going to work full time.
Absolutely. And that's the thing is, and that can be in any facet of relationship in your training camp, your teammates, your coaches. Not everybody needs the same thing. And that's the other thing that's really tough for people to understand in the sport. Like, people say this is the best coach in the world because he took Volkanovski and this and that, Well, that's the best coach in the world for Alex Volkanovski, right? Like,
yeah.
People, and it's not a knock, it's just saying personalities connect on different levels. Like, you may be the best coach, the most technical coach in the world, but if you're a jerk and you're standoffish, well, I tend to always think things are my fault. I might think you hate me, and we won't connect. I'll pull back and probably, feel not welcome. My coach growing up is an amazing jiu-jitsu practitioner, he's a jiu-jitsu coach, and he's amazing. He's a wealth of knowledge, and he's a really inspirational person. But he's not the person that's going to knock on your door and say, you better be running, you better be doing this. He's a martial arts instructor. He wasn't my trainer in the sense of, like, did you get your miles in? He's going to motivate you and inspire you, and if you take it and you run with it, he'll pour more into you, So, like, if I wasn't a motivated person and also obsessive myself, maybe it wouldn't be the best coach in the world for me, But for me, like, we connected, and that was amazing, and I have other coaches like that as well. So it's the exact same thing in that is some people maybe need their family at home, they need to go away, and they feel like that gets them, the edge they need. I'd rather be around my family, And I learned that, I had a grappling super fight with, Cowboy Cerrone, and we traveled as a family for that. I'm like, it's grappling, I want to win, but I know how to grapple, and, I don't need to be peaked, peak sleep and all this. So, like, we're like, let's test it out. And we drove, actually, and we took a pit stop halfway up the coast. It was from Carolina to New Jersey. And my daughter woke up in the middle of the night, that first night, like the night before weigh-ins. And it was like 3 a.m. and she was throwing a party in the hotel room. She was so excited. She caught a second wind. She woke up. And I'm like, oh, man, I'm tired. We got to Philly the next day, and I'm like, okay, I'm tired. I took a nap and did my little shakeout before the weigh-in. I'm like, oh, I feel back to, like, how I do on fight week even. The next day, it was no thing. I was playing with her. It was time to go, put her down, and went and grappled, And, like, maybe I wouldn't do it that exact way on fight day, but, like, it didn't change my mentality. Like, I'm not a guy that needs to be, like, I hate everyone. I want to go kill this guy. No, I'm just a competitor,
Yeah.
man. Like, I know to switch it on. So I really was able to relate to